Derek.
What?
We're live. We got to start the show. You're filling in for Espo, remember?
Oh, has Drew Petzing been fired yet?
No.
Well, then why should I start the show if they're not going to do anything about that? I mean, fine. Let's start the show.
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into Southwest Bias. Yes, this is not Espo. There is no ahoy today. It is your mayor of PHNX, occasionally known as Derek Montilla, filling in for one Greg Esposito on a much needed week off. But of course, I am here and I am very capable of absolutely screaming about the Arizona Cardinals here in Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. I guess I should say live from Studio K. Also presented by our friends at Gila River. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com to learn more today. Welcome in. And as Andrew says, thank you, Andrew. Welcome to rock bottom, fellas. Here we are. Yep, this is it. This is the worst of the worst. And I don't know how things could get any worse than what we saw yesterday in Sunday's Cardinals loss to the Tennessee Titans. I may have cursed this team because on the little stupid baseball podcast I do a little while after this one, I proclaimed that the Cardinals were going to smash the Tennessee Titans. I have Tony Pollard on my fantasy football team, so I've been paying very close attention to what that team's been doing. And as Cam Ward says, they are in fact ass. But now guess what? We are ass. The Cardinals are ass, because after what I saw yesterday, I'm ready to give up on football altogether. Forget just not rooting for the Cardinals anymore. I am ready to not watch the game of football anymore. And it's my favorite thing to do on Sunday. You ruined my favorite show, Drew Petzing. You absolutely did. And not just him. This was the worst loss collectively I've ever experienced, I think, in any sport, especially watching the Cardinals. I have heard people bring up past Cardinals losses. I have heard them say the 58-0 game. That one was an ass kicking that started in the first quarter and never stopped. That was different. This should have been a Cardinals win easily. This should have been the easiest win ever. The Cardinals dominated in the first half. In fact, they even let their foot off the gas pedal in the first half when they had a pretty significant 21-6 lead. But let's talk about the DeMercado. No, I don't want to. Let's not. I don't want to talk about anything. I don't want to talk about the fumble out of the back of the end zone. I don't want to talk about the interception that was also fumbled away to give the Titans a touchdown. This was collectively the most insane loss I've ever seen the Cardinals have. And this is a bad franchise that has had some terrible losses. Not heartbreaking, though. And that is what you could describe this year's losses as. So far, the Cardinals have 3 losses, and this is their 3rd game of the year that they have lost on a walk-off field goal. Oh, and that's probably more. Look at that. All 3 Cardinals losses are on walk-off field goals. That's probably more than walk-off hits the Diamondbacks had this season. But this is insane. This was the worst loss I've ever seen the Cardinals have. Mistimed snaps, fumbling through the back of the end zone when you had a touchdown, scoring a 76-yard touchdown. Amari DeMercado just taking one to the house only to just give it away, just to throw it away at the goal line. And again, this isn't like something that just happened. We just had this experience. We just experienced this with another NFL team last week. This should have been something that every NFL team covered and said, don't ever be this stupid. But DeMercado did not get that email. He was not part of that meeting. And man, I was glad to see some of the footage I saw on Twitter where Jonathan Gannon wanted to beat a hole through his chest, because I think that's how most of us felt watching him lose that ball through the back of the end zone and give up that touchdown that would have put the Cardinals up at that point 28-6 and would have made this game out of reach for the Titans, completely out of reach. Also, penalties for leaving too early on the kickoff, flipping an intentional grounding into the dirt, too many drops to count. This was one of the worst games that I have seen the Cardinals play when they had a lead and came out so hot. We finally see Marvin Harrison have the game we've all been dying to see him have through the air with the receptions, and just things were looking towards them being an absolute blowout for the Cardinals, which is something they needed substantially after the last 2 losses. The Cardinals, at the 2:38 mark in the third quarter, had a 98.2% win probability. A 98.2% win probability. This is the second most improbable comeback of the season in the NFL, with the Bills' comeback over the Ravens being the least probable or most improbable, however you want to phrase it. But it doesn't matter. We're in terrible territory here with what the Cardinals did yesterday. I think that this is just a kick in the groin to all of us as Arizona sports fans. This, again, like I said, makes me not only want to give up on the Cardinals as a franchise, but it makes me want to stop watching football altogether. I had a hard time watching other games after this. The Sunday night game, Monday night. I am in a very intense battle with one Damon Dog in our fantasy football league, and I didn't need the extra stress because he might pull a comeback on me the same way that the Titans did on the Cardinals. My defense is better, though. I promise you. And I'm not going to run it 3 straight times in the fourth quarter. That's really what it comes down to. With the game on the line and Kyler Murray as our quarterback, I am not going to run it 3 times to end the game and to give the Titans the ball back. And that was probably the most egregious part of all of this. The rest of it were mistakes. The dropped interception that just ridiculously didn't go the Cardinals' way, or not dropped interception, I guess you could say completed interception that was then fumbled away for the Titans to just find in the end zone. There was a lot of terrible luck in this game for the Cardinals, but a lot of self-inflicted wounds. None was worse, though, than the Cardinals having a two-point lead with less than 90 seconds left to go and not doing something to run the clock out, not doing something to get that last first down that you needed so desperately. Instead, you're giving the ball to your running back to run into the back of your lineman. It was despicable, and this is the reason why the Cardinals absolutely need to move on from Drew Petzing as fast as possible. Now, trust me, if you've ever watched the Diamondback show, I am not a DFA this guy, cut this guy, but DeMercado probably needs to go as well. And again, I could probably say this a little freely since I don't host a regular football show around here or have credentials, but I will say DeMercado has to go. A message needs to be sent. I would send him and Drew Petzing packing immediately. Drew Petzing play calling has been atrocious, and everybody's already agreed on that up to this point. But what they did there late in the game was give the game away to the Tennessee Titans. And not just late in the game. That's the other confusing part about this. From the 10:43 mark in the second quarter, the Cardinals had one drive of more than 10 yards, which, by the way, ended with a mistimed snap that hit Kyler Murray in the face, fumbled away to the Titans, and caused Kyler to leave the game with some sort of foot injury. Luckily, he came back, but the play calling was just scared. It was scared. The play calling, once the team was up with a significant lead, the play calling got scared from that point. There was no sense of urgency in the entire second half, and it just got worse as the game went on. But the 3 straight runs to end the game are unforgivable, especially considering what happened here. And you knew it was going to happen. No matter how bad the Titans kicker was, you knew he was going to make that kick. Every single one of us knew online, watching this game, exactly how it was going to end, and it ended the exact way we thought it was going to be, with our worst nightmares being confirmed. I guess all of this comes down to the tough decisions need to be made, and I know that this Cardinals organization is not going to make any tough decisions in regard to their head coach, who deserves quite a bit of blame here as well. But when it comes down to the offensive structure of this team and what has happened over the course of this season, you got to fire Drew Petzing right now. And that is my Southwest bias. Shane, we got Shane on the 1s and 2s today. I'm still very angry. We got the mustache behind the Mac. Shane, I need some levity here. God bless you. There he is.
Maybe we can try that one more time. Because you got the catchphrase wrong, and so we're gonna need you to I know there's a lot of external factors going on in your mind because of the Cardinals.
Yeah.
It's maybe that's just my Southwest bias.
Maybe that's just my Southwest bias.
And then you say
no. That is in fact very much my Southwest bias. There's no maybes about it here, Shane.
Okay.
Fire Drew Petzing. Get him out of here now.
That's fair.
I'm losing. My voice is in the condition it is because of how much I screamed at the television yesterday for the final 15 minutes of this game, and I don't like that. I have a lot of shows to do this week.
Yeah, luckily I didn't scream because I couldn't speak because I was speechless. It was one of those games that left you looking at the TV like you have a deviated septum, and you're just. It was genuinely the most insane game I've seen. It's bad when the national media is paying attention to the Arizona Cardinals, and it's not for a good thing.
Yeah,
because the Cardinals all the time. But the fact that the national media was talking about that might be the worst loss I've ever seen. That's when you know it's not just an Arizona sports thing. It's this franchise is cursed thing.
I mean, the NFL account wasn't even giving descriptions of what happened. They were just writing fumble, touchdown, what? That's what they were writing from the official NFL account. It was insane. And honestly, I mean, it's like the kind of loss that really is depleting. Like so many members of this team are probably demoralized from what they saw yesterday that they had no part in. Yet you still feel like you have to place blame everywhere on everybody on this team. But it wasn't the rest of the offense that dropped that ball out of the back of the end zone by DeMercado, right? Like, so it was maddening. And like, I couldn't believe how many mistakes they were making. And not just small mistakes, not like defensive penalties and things like that, like catastrophic mistakes that you just left you, like you said, speechless. The amount, like I've grown my hair out a little bit, and it was just all sticking up like this because of how much I was putting my hands into my hair. It was an insane loss.
I mean, each of those plays individually are cause enough for a whole topic of discussion the next day. Them all combined and them all in the fourth. It's crazy. It's legitimately crazy. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, right. It's once again, as we sit here and talk about it, it's hard not to be speechless.
We need to turn to some type of witch magician thing.
Yeah,
because
here comes the Seattle Mariners guy with the Etsy witch.
It has nothing to do with that.
It totally does.
No,
Shane,
because
100%.
the powers at be were not just normal football things.
No, they weren't.
What I say on the ASU show a lot is the football is shaped oblong. It bounces weird.
Right.
That's why there's so much randomness in the sport. There's so many factors at play. This was a dark power. This was not randomness or chance. There was no dice roll. There was some entity with magic coming out of their fingers somewhere in probably the 400 level going like this on the field, because what happened
present at State Farm Stadium, there's no way that this witch or this magical power was remote. It had to be present near the team, very close to the team.
I have an ask. If you were at the game last night and you heard anybody speaking in tongues, please contact me, because we need to find that person.
If you got video, at least if we can narrow it down, maybe the Cardinals can help us search, because I'm sure they want to locate this person as much as possible, as much as we do here on this show. But we have no choice but to turn to our own Etsy witch, and that is Bo Brock. We're going to have him join us to give his thoughts on this Cardinals loss, and if he can confirm that this is in fact the worst loss he's ever seen from this team. We're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching Southwest Bias. Of course, I could use a drink from Circle K right now. Let me tell you, I get those for cheaper because I am a part of their inner circle. If you have not joined their inner circle, don't know what you're waiting for. It's free. You can do it easily right now. Sign up, get enrolled, and then all you got to do is use your phone number, and you'll start saving today on Circle K deals, including 79-cent Polar Pops, 99-cent Frosters, 3 for $5 on Gatorades, as well as their little gas discount right now, which very valuable. You can make a purchase once per week, either a $5 purchase or a 5-gallon fill-up, and you'll save 10 cents off per gallon on your next fill-up, and that is valid for once per week drop in. So make sure to do that. But first, make sure to join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And look, our football team doesn't really give back to us, but everyone needs a checking account. So, of course, you should get a checking account that gives back to you. Get the account with built-in benefits right now. Mountain America's MyStyle Checking Account has perks just for you. They'll give back to you, including restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, and more. They have identity protection, loan rate discounts, offers on travel and events, and just so much more than that. So make MyStyle your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Right now, you can visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Insured by NCUA, membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. But again, checking account takes so much money away from you. Make sure you have a checking account that gives you back something with all of this that MyStyle Checking Account from Mountain America Credit Union gives you. All right, well, we are going to have the one, the only Bo Brock join us. I'm going to slide over here, pal, give you some more space. I know you probably don't want to be close to human beings right now after what you witnessed yesterday, but I would want to be far away from anything sports related.
On the verge of tears at any moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was the most ridiculous thing I think most of us have ever witnessed.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I do. I'm actually just fresh off jury duty. This is not a bit at all. I was down the street just on Washington. There was the little facility down there. Spent there 2 hours.
Yikes.
And while I was there, I submitted to Drew Petzing to pay for his crimes.
Yes.
In the 8 consecutive drives that the Cardinals had on offense, that they didn't get a single point out of any of those drives, but an inexplicable loss.
I mean,
yesterday,
what happened? I mean, obviously, there's a part of this that is just the team kind of going into we have a big lead, let's go into cruise mode. Obviously, the DeMercado.
It was far worse than
rumble,
that.
Right?
It was far worse than like.
It was just like we're like the game's over and we just need to run out the clock for the next 3 quarters.
It was like it was snatching a loss out of the grasp of victory. It was unbelievable. Right. Like the multiple ways that they found to just bumble F this win away. Yeah. It was next level. As Shane was and you guys were just talking about, like, hey, some people are talking about this team, but in all the wrong ways. Like, this is the worst loss of the NFL season on the 2025 calendar. And, like, that's no badge that you wear with honor.
Sure.
We have the Arizona Cardinals. You have the snap that hits Kyler Murray in the face mask that resulted in not being able to kick a field goal. There's 3 points that you left on the table. Mario DeMercado dropping the ball before he crossed the plane of the end zone, touchback going the other way, and then you have the Titans who are able to capitalize on that and score a touchdown, and then you have Rabbit Taylor Demerson picking off Cam Ward and fumbling the ball to where the Titans fall on it for another touchdown. You know, it was, you can't draw this up. If you did, people would say that is too much fiction there for anybody to believe this. You can't, you couldn't figure it out. Like, you would have rage quit this game on Madden and way earlier than we did. Way earlier than even just taking the loss that they did in the final second. 3 consecutive games, by the way, where the Cardinals are walked off.
It's crazy.
Game winner.
It's crazy. And I mean, again, the team played so well for the first, quarter and a half, I guess. Even I don't even want to say that about the second quarter, but defensively they were solid. Right. Everything looked like it was clicking. And again, this was a winless Titans team, so it felt like this was just going to be an easy.
You felt like there was something new, Derek. It was like it was 21-3 with just over 10 minutes left in the second quarter. The Arizona Cardinals offensively, that was their new season high as far as points scored, because the game where they scored 27 against the Panthers, they also had a defensive touchdown. I'm like, hey, well done. I like this. There's new look Drew. He's like the new fun uncle in there. He's changing things up. But no, and then quickly things came crashing back down to earth. The offense went stagnant, non-existent. And then you thought, hey, we got a little juice here with, Amari taking it to the house. Nice play call, right? 3rd and 1. Jacoby Brissett's in there for the QB sneak. Everybody's anticipating that. Hits one hole, he's gone.
Yeah.
And then disaster strikes, and then it was just over from there.
I mean, disaster struck in more than one way, right? And that's really what this was all about. Was like, just watching this, I don't think I've said the words "no way" so many times in a row where I wasn't able to, like Shane said, form any other words besides "no way." Like I mean, Josh Sweat, PJ Mustipher, like there was just so much good things going on that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, I was proud of the running game earlier on. Like Carter did a good job of stepping into that role. I was surprised to see them go with him early, you know, and there were these rumors about Alvin Kamara and the Cardinals being connected.
Speculation more so.
Yeah, sure, speculation. But still, nonetheless, it felt early on like I was ready to say, what do we need that guy for? And all, you know, all this stuff, all this positive stuff. And I just couldn't believe how it slipped through their fingers. And it just felt like, once again, it was a team that was coasting a bit. And like that, what got them to that point of having that 21 to 3-point lead had, you know, a lot of involvement of Marvin Harrison Jr., which so many of us wanted to see.
Yeah, which was crazy. Like Mike Clay, who works for ESPN, put out this stat, and we look, you know, as trying as Marvin Harrison Jr.'s season has been to this point, to the first 4 games, you know, you see him get going in the first half, right? He's got, you know, 79 yards and 3 catches, the near touchdown where he mosses 2 defenders to set themselves up for their first score. And then Mike Clay points out he actually had a season low target share. 17% of the targets went to Marvin Harrison Jr. when it was all said and done. So he comes out, and you're like, Marv looks great.
Yeah.
They're cooking.
Yeah.
They've got that rapport going.
Yard
they're parlaying the end of the Thursday night game into the first half, and then they stop. They stop going to Marv.
Yeah.
And that's a huge problem. That's where you start to look and you say, hey, it's more than the boneheaded play from Amari DiMercado. It's more than just the unbelievable pick, fumble, you know, score for the Titans.
100%.
It's this offense is broken. It is fatally flawed as far as the Cardinals' ability to have aspirations as a playoff team.
Yeah, that's crazy. 5 targets for Marvin Harrison Jr. Caught 4 of them for 98 yards, and why throw to him anymore after that?
Yeah,
right?
I believe 4 of his 5 were in the first half. So 1 target in the second half for Marvin Harrison Jr.
And that was during that ill-fated drive where they ended up hitting Kyler in the face with the ball.
Yeah, and he nearly made an unbelievable catch on that.
No,
they reviewed it, and then they were just like, okay, we're good. You know, we're at the blackjack table. We're going to cash out as far as our Marv chips.
Yeah. Speaking of which, is Kyler okay? And I mean that in more than one way. I said physically, but also mentally.
He said in his post game that he had to, you know, still go under further evaluation for the foot injury that he must have suffered on that play where he was hit in the face.
It was so weird too because it didn't really look like watching it back in slow motion like anything really happened to him besides the fact that I thought it might have been his neck because of how far his kind of head went back.
I think
that's no joke. I really did think.
I think he was sad.
Yeah,
he had an emotional injury.
Hey, I was sad. I was ready to go in the blue tent after I watched what happened to the team.
Do we need to correct that? Because in the press box they give us updates and like Kyler Murray is being evaluated for foot. He's questionable. He needs to be questionable for sadness. Yes, he's melancholy.
Yeah.
He's downtrodden.
Questionable for the
Kyler Murray questionable to return. Parentheses melancholy.
Oh man, yeah, but the big thing about this is the amount of people that they're honest. I mean, this might just be a reaction because of how angry we all are, but they're like, I'm done with this team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to sell my tickets. I'm ready to not watch any more games. Like, it's an incredibly bad place for a team to be. They were showing that section behind the bench that was supposed to be populated with red, and it looked pretty empty there at the end of the game.
It was all you saw was the red seats. And this was a transcendent loss. Like this was the type of loss that makes people question everything. And for, you know, with I don't mean that as far as being a joke or anything.
No, you're right,
like that it makes people question, you know, from the regime that people had bought in because of the culture change that they witnessed, and people have been on board with this entire rebuild, and they said, well, they're thinking twice. They said, is this the right leadership that's going to get us to where we want to go? Finally, because there was a ton of belief and conviction in Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenfort, and a lot of that, you know, has deteriorated, you know, week 1 through week 4. But last night was yesterday was like the exclamation point to that. Yeah. And people are furious because to be subjected to that, not only like to lose games, but lose in that sort of fashion is the most eye-opening, sobering type of way to do that.
Well, and our 2 seasons couldn't be more different, right? Mm-hmm. Because the one thing I have to do, and especially get fans to realize, is like one loss isn't the end of the world for the Diamondbacks, no matter how bad it is.
Yeah.
And they suffered some demoralizing losses throughout the 2025 season. But this is so much different. Like you said, this is one loss, like not obviously their first loss of the year, but considering that they've had 3 in a row that are walk-off field goals like this, and that they have legitimately, like just fumbled away the most embarrassing loss that
literally
anybody feels.
Yeah.
Even the, like I was talking about the win probability being 98.2% there in the third quarter, right? And that the only game that had a bigger or less probable, chance of coming back was the Bills overcoming the Ravens. But that Bills team is a good team, so them overcoming the Ravens isn't an embarrassment. It was just more about them having a comeback. No one's going to really credit the Titans for this comeback. They're just always going to talk about the Cardinals literally giving away a football game.
As they should.
Right.
Like, I think you had one moment where you're like, hey, Cam Ward, right? Where he made that throw to Calvin Ridley of 38 yards that set up, the eventual walk-off field goal. Like, that was it. Like, you watch the Titans, especially that first half, they were atrocious. Like, I think Cam Ward was like 8 for 21. He was having trouble just completing any passes. It was an embarrassment. It looked like a JV team, and it took the Cardinals shoving them the victory instead of the Titans just going out there and outright winning the game.
Right.
Like
the Titans were like whatever, and the Cardinals were like, here, take it.
Yeah, it was remember the Titans, and you have to remember like the sequel is remember the Titans. ... our ass. That's the sequel, and we should have seen it play out, and we didn't. Like Cam Ward said, keep it in a buck. We're ass. He said that a week ago, and now they're celebrating the first victory. Yeah, what's that say?
Yeah, that's not great, but good luck covering this team for the rest of the season. I mean, we're not in great places, either one of us here, but that's not easy to do. Also, make sure to catch Bo, Johnny, and the rest of the PHNX crew for the Ultimate Cardinals away game watch parties out there at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass. It's always a good time, even when they give games away. I don't know. This one might be hard to do.
I don't think that's the
latter's
not true.
But these guys always help make it better. So, of course, our event features live pre, half, and post-game PHNX Cardinals shows, as well as food and drink specials, PHNX giveaways, immaculate vibes, and so much more. So the next watch party is on Sunday, October 12th. Make sure to join them for that. RSVP for the Cardinals away game parties over at gophnx.com/events. And it's free. Just come on out.
This weekend, you might see an appearance from me and maybe Damon.
Oh, my goodness.
Could be a huge party.
And that's going to roll over to the tables downstairs.
You guys aren't going to leave the craps table.
But, I mean, right after a win for ASU at Utah, coming off like a midnight post-game show, I'm going to be in real good spirits. I'm going to feel real good. I do just want to steal the floor a little bit for a second so I can be a little selfish. Bo knows this already, but Derek, you don't. Yesterday, I witnessed something that everyone else really cared about in a certain way, but I selfishly, it impacted me a little bit more. Amari DeMercado, not only did he give the game away to the Titans, I also had him to score yesterday in a parlay that would have netted me over $200.
I saw a guy lost $10,000 on that same
that's
parlay.
basically how much that $200 means to me, though, right now.
Is there any forgiveness in your heart, or is it?
Absolutely not.
No.
I mean, is it too drastic, Bo, to say like somebody needs to go? It needs to be firing Drew Petzing.
This is a type of loss where something has to happen. You have to kind of make a point, and like I don't think that they'll go as big as moving off of the play caller and Drew Petzing. I don't think it's going to be in the form of Mari DeMercado being cut. Like, even though DeMercado now, I think you can look at him as two losing plays throughout the season. Like, he dropped the pass in Santa Clara that would have helped the Cardinals beat the Niners. And then yesterday, I don't know what the move looks like. Obviously, this is an organization that is dug in as far as staying with the status quo, but these are the type of losses where the decision makers, sometimes it gets taken out of their hands, and there's pressure from above, like, hey, you got to do something.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens, but like Bo said, most likely it'll be nothing, at least for now. So we appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be back with another episode of Southwest Bias tomorrow. Until then, follow all of us on Twitter. I'm at @cap_caveman with a K. He's at Bob Rack. Yes, sir.
Before we get out of here, we have a super chat from Traquan McHurdles.
Oh, yes, Traquan McHurdles.
My goat. $10 says the Cardinals haven't looked this bad since 2012 when they lost 50-0 in Seattle. We talked about this. It would be better if they lost 58-0.
That's fine. That's just an ass kicking that I can deal with, and that's something I'll turn off in the first quarter and not have my heart broken about in the fourth. Right? Like there was no watching that game was just like, oh hey, our team sucks. That's more of that. This was like again. I almost lost my voice screaming no at the television last night. And that I'm usually fairly more reserved than that. But anyway, I'll be back here in a little bit with the PHNX D-Back show. Make sure to join us for that. But in the meantime, again, thank you guys for your time. You can follow us on Twitter, Bob Rack, _caveman with a K. That guy over there is Shane Deef. And we are all PHNX_sports. So thank you again for your time. We'll see you tomorrow. Behave yourselves. And remember, kids, the Cardinals might, in fact, be the ones who are ass.
We all silly like the mayor.